Jets or the Giants play, you already know we roasting them, cooking them, put them on the grill. Sports talk artillery, yeah, we too real. King with the stats, coach with the smoke. WTF Nation, laugh till you choke. Wednesday, heat, 8 p.m., no debate. Sports Bar Nation, we never show up late. Oh, this is the Sports Bar. Wednesday nights we go hard. Veterans strong and we stand tall. WTF Nation, we run the ball. Hey, hey, turn the lights on. It's Sports Bar, come get your hype on. Hey, turn the lights on. It's Sports Bar, come get your hype on. WTF Nation, Wednesday domination. King and coach in rotation. The Sports Bar's sensation. From kickoff to buzzer beaters, we break it all down. Wednesday 8 p.m. the live show in town. It's the Sports Bar where legends hang out. WTF Nation Radio. We out.
You know what? Fuck it. We just gonna go right into it. What's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio. I don't know what's up with our intro. I think Coach done fucked something up. That's my take, and I'm gonna stick to it. But we live here Wednesday night, April the 15th. We are halfway through the month. Almost at WTF Nation Radio. My second screen decided that it wanted to talk. So at least I know that my audio is good. How y'all doing? Glad to be back. Tonight, we're going to give y'all an update on all the things around spring sports. And when I say we, I mean this man right here, the person behind the fence, the Army veteran affectionately known as Coach. Coach, let the people know. Let's try that again.
I was trying to fix the freaking intro slide up there, man. Daggone. I don't know what the hell happened there.
Hey, what do you hear? What do you say?
What do you say? About damn time I'm back after a month off. So, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
What is going on under that Yankees hat? What is that?
Man, you know, I wasn't gonna wear my. Well, hold on. Wait a minute. I forgot I had this one. There, I'll put this on so that this way everybody knows what I am. I'll be a shill for the station for tonight. There we go. Better?
Yeah, I just had mine. I put mine up because I'm about to be moving here in about 2 weeks. So I've got a lot.
You moving to a place with better internet?
Yes, I am. Hopefully. Hopefully, because hey, that is the first thing I said. The first thing that I need to do is test the internet. I've already met my neighbors and I talked to them, and literally the first question, I didn't care about the neighborhood because like I'm moving to a place that I'm already familiar with. But the first question that I asked the neighbors was, "So how's the internet?"
Good shit, man. Good shit. And
hey man, it's been a minute, man. It's good to see you, brother. How you doing?
Oh man, busy as hell, dude. Past month has been work, moving around different schedules, doing a lot of stuff up on Fort Bragg, which if we got anybody who's up on Fort Bragg right now, who's watching, drop it over in the comments. I've probably seen you over the past 3 weeks, but there's been a lot of stuff happening up there. Doing a hell of a lot of stuff, starting my day at about 5 o'clock in the morning every morning, not getting to bed till about 10 or so. Oh. And work's been busy. I got accepted to this. I'll call it managerial training. That's the best way I can kind of call it and simplify it. But got accepted for that, and that's a year-long program. So that started last month. And it's been, schoolwork in between and doing a couple other things and getting to know different people. And, it's just been that on top of my work and all that, man. Been busy as hell. Let me say this, though. It hasn't been just all work, because over the past month, went fly fishing.
Hey.
Went to a hockey game. Went to do some skeet shooting, which that was kind of funny. I ended up becoming the example of what not to do on that because I invited kids to go out skeet shooting, and hey, look, the kids did great. It was all the other people that were, oh shit, kids were skeet shooting. Yeah, no shit, kids were skeet shooting. They were safe too. Well, you're never doing that fucking again. All right, not a problem. And then this weekend, they got 2 baseball games, and then I think I'm doing my first surf trip on Sunday. So, I've been busy.
Surf trip, like surfing?
Yeah, we're going to go actually stand-up paddleboarding. So, heading out to a couple little creeks and taking a nice stand-up paddleboard tour, and some people are going to have kayaks and other boats and everything like that. But, that's what we're doing, man.
Good deal. Sounds like you're out there being active, getting to it, providing a service for people, man. That is awesome. I dig
it. Hey, you got to let Nemo know, no more McDonald's Wi-Fi.
Hey, Nemo, that's right. No more McDonald's Wi-Fi. Appreciate you tuning in. And great Mythic run on Weekend Co-ops this past Saturday. I watched the first 50 or so odd minutes of it. Why not just round it up and say an hour? I watched the first hour or so of that, man. It's making me a lot more confident being able to go out there and do some Mythic. So I appreciate what you got going on out there with Weekend Co-ops. Now, let's get to some of the marketing, and then let's get into our show. We are one of several shows here at WTF Nation Radio / US Army WTF Moments. Today is the Sports Bar, where we talk about things sports, stuff, sports culture, sports news, things of that nature. We are not technical analyst people. We're just guys that might have a conversation like how you might hear in a sports bar, hence the name. Tomorrow, you have Sergeant Time with Ice, where he talks about things around the military, veteran space, and the news. On Friday, every other Friday, which we're not going to have one this Friday, you have FTX, hosted by Pop Culture Warrior and featuring a gang of other people where they play tabletop games, card games, all of those type of games, you name it, they're doing it. On Saturdays, you have Weekend Co-ops, hosted by Nemo, where he gets on and he plays all the video games, and he plays with the viewers as well. So if gaming is something that you're all about, pop in on Saturdays for Weekend Co-ops. On Sunday, you have Dr. J's The Reset, where she kicks off the week, if you believe Sunday starts the week, talking about things around the mental health space and things of that nature. She's not here to diagnose you, but she is here to give you tools, things to consider, maybe stuff that you can ask your primary care provider and things like that to help you through your resiliency. On Monday, you get 2 shows. You'll see this face at 7 o'clock with my lovely lady on the live stream show called The King of Me Show, which some people, I guess, don't realize that there's more than one program in the WTF Nation Radio. Show, we are showcasing things around modern dating, relationships, and things like that, answering questions and providing a different insight on how to make relationships work. And then immediately after us, you have the Monday edition with Ice. And then you get through our last day, Tuesday. Don't nobody care about that day, but you got Pop Culture Warrior, who talks about all things pop culture, Comic Cons and things like that on Tuesday nights. He has some amazing guests and things as well. And our station has had some really good guests over the last couple of weeks. So shout out to all of the shows. We got something for everybody. So if sports ain't your thing, come back on Thursday for some Sergeant's Time stuff. If military stuff ain't your thing, tune in on Sunday for the reset. How'd I do, Coach?
You did good, man. You know, when I was looking at the calendar, man, we ain't got any guests coming up on any of the shows I'm looking at. So,
well,
yeah.
for the last 2 weeks, go and check out some of the guests that we've had on both Pop Culture Warrior and the Monday edition. Now, let's get into the thing sports. Coach, I know we've talked about wrestling. I've been to one, I want to say it was a Raw event in DC. And man, let me tell you, I didn't grow up watching wrestling, but like your Hulk Hogan's, your Undertakers, like those were the people that were the wrestlers when I was coming up. So I was familiar with it, but I wasn't necessarily engrossed in it. But when I went to that wrestling event at Capital One Arena in DC, I was fascinated. They put on a very entertaining show. Now, there's been this wrestler that has came up through NXT wrestling, and he has taken wrestling by storm. Have you ever heard of the wrestler Oba Femi, Femi?
No, I have not.
I wish I could play his intro music without getting zooked, but this guy right here he has a Nigerian background. And he has one of the dopest intros I have ever seen. He comes out, man, you know, he's getting hype up, and everybody in the crowd's going, oh. And then the pyrotechnics lights up, and here you got this like 6'4" Nigerian muscle-bound dude, and he comes in with this stroll, which they're about to show right here. Here it is. Come on. And he got the whole crowd into this stroll. Guy seems like he came out of nowhere, but he's been taking wrestling by storm. Coach is back in. All right. He's been taking wrestling by storm here. Has everybody chanting the whole nine. He's going to be a part of WrestleMania here coming up in Vegas over the 18th and 19th of April. Let me pause this video here before it goes into something else. So you got WrestleMania 42 coming up. It's going to be in Vegas, the 18th and the 19th, streaming on ESPN Unlimited, and it's got a stacked card. For the main event, you've got CM Punk going against Roman Reigns for the Raw World title, and Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton clashing for SmackDown supremacy. Now, one of the brawls, and this is one of the biggest things that's been taking social media and streaming by storm, is Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi, the feud that they've had since the end of 2025, in which they signed a massive contract on Raw that was mediated by Triple H that went completely off the rails. I saw that video. It was entertaining as shit. Lesnar promised the crowd that they won't even know his name after WrestleMania. But I think, and you're way more into wrestling than me, and from the business side of it. Some people are saying that there's no way that they're going to allow Brock Lesnar to lose to this newcomer. But I think with the reception that this wrestler has been getting, that they're going to have Oba win and knock down Brock. And Brock's going to end on that loss towards the end of his wrestling. So what do you think about that?
All right. So this is taking off the old hat and going back to the way that professional wrestling usually runs. Brock Lesnar will lose because Brock Lesnar, if I'm correct, this is his last contract. He was signed. He doesn't have any more dates out of this after WrestleMania. I believe he's hanging it up and, focusing on whatever he wants to focus on. Brock Lesnar has put people over on WrestleMania cards before. He's done that to Seth Rollins. He's done that to Roman Reigns. He did that. I can't remember who else he's done that with. But as I'm talking about this, there's a certain thing that happens when you're on your way out with professional wrestlers, and that professional wrestlers on their way out of the company or on the way out of the business will lose that important match to somebody to elevate them. Okay, it's happened over history. When WrestleMania 35, the one that I went to at MetLife, that one was Kurt Angle's last match. Everybody was like, okay, Kurt Angle's going to end up winning this match. It was against Baron Corbin. He took him off, and anyway, Baron Corbin won. Kurt Angle retired. John Cena, his last match was against Gunther, and John Cena tapped out, and he put Gunther over. Now, Gunther is like, one of the best people that's for several years. You have Roman Reigns, who, again, around the same time with Cody Rhodes, but then you got CM Punk, who's been doing it for 20 years, and Randy Orton, who at the same year that Brock Lesnar was and John Cena debuted was the same year that Randy Orton debuted. They've been doing it forever. New people need to step up to it, and the best way to do that is to defeat an established star. So Obi, he's going to end up winning this match over in WrestleMania.
All right, I like it. So again, if you are interested in that event, it is streaming on ESPN Unlimited. It is a 2-day event kicking off. The kickoff event is going to be Friday, April the 17th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. If you are in Vegas, I bet that is going to be a really good crowd. Have you ever been to Vegas, Coach? I'm assuming you have.
No, in Vegas, no, I've never been there. Now, I've been other places. I've been plenty of other places that have casinos, but no, I have not been to Vegas.
Man, okay. Let me tell you, Vegas, it's not as expensive as I thought that it was going to be. Now,
how long ago did you go?
Last September, or no, last August.
All right, I've heard about like the resort fees, the little service fees, and the ridiculousness of how high everything has been priced off of numerous reports about them talking about Vegas.
There's you can say old Vegas and new Vegas. In my opinion, old Vegas is still priced to get people to come in and not feel like they're getting hit over the head by everything. But if you step into New Vegas, definitely New Vegas, where people are wearing $20,000 watches on their wrists and things like that, and you see Ferraris and the sports cars driving down the New Vegas area. Yeah, I mean, most definitely around there. But me and the lady we were there for, it was like a weekend or so. We went right before the football season, me and 2 other couples, to do a fantasy football draft in person, man, and just end up, getting out there and having a good time. It's not the reason why I bring it up is because I would love to live not necessarily in Vegas, but like adjacent to Vegas, like around their Beltway area, because the amount of entertainment venues and things that you can get out there. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the entertainment capital of the U.S. I don't think it's New York. I think it's Vegas.
No, well, each casino has its own theater. You now have professional sports that are playing over there. I would argue that there are more places in New York for entertainment, and LA is also considered another entertainment thing, but that's more of a content creation. I would say that the overall amount of entertainment that is concentrated in Vegas is greater than New York City, because I'm including Broadway shows when I'm talking about New York City and theaters, and I'm also talking about the 7 sports teams that compete in New York City proper. So that's where I kind of go with that one, as far as who's the best and where it goes. But yeah, Vegas with the vast variety of what they have and the number of shows, the number of stars that they have performing on residencies, it is the entertainment capital of the United States.
All right. To wrap up WrestleMania 42 on the women's side of the house, the women's world champion Stephanie Vaquer launched a brutal backstage assault on Miss Liv Morgan this past week to kick things off. That's definitely a storyline that people are going to be watching. You also have the Ripley versus Cargill match that's going to get people locked in and talking about it as well. And the other thing that they're doing, and I thought that this was great, bringing in people like iShow Speed. Have you heard of iShow Speed? Coach?
Yeah, I know iShow Speed. Yeah.
See, either you know him or you don't. But those that know him know that this guy is basically an international streaming superstar who is a young athletic kid. He's officially getting in the ring, and he's teaming up with Logan Paul to take on LA Knight and the Uso brothers. So that right there, that's just to bring in those young eyes, the massive amount of people that follow iShow Speed, and get those people interested in the event and things like that. So I think that the brainchilds and the powers that be behind this WrestleMania are pulling out all the punches and doing all the hype. So I'm definitely interested. I'm not somebody that's into like a WrestleMania like that, but I will be checking out the matches on Saturday and Sunday for sure.
Yeah. Well, have fun with that, man. Like I said, I got a baseball game and I'm going to be stand-up paddleboarding. I'm not going to be able to watch it.
All right. Now let's kick it over to the NBA playoffs and the NBA play-in drama. Did you watch any of the games or catch any of the replays about what happened yesterday?
I did, and I need to say something now that the NBA has finally started its playoffs, even though they don't consider the play-ins part of the playoffs. Yes, it's part of the fucking playoffs, all right? Yes. The NBA playoffs are the only thing that's interesting now in the NBA, plain and simple. So this entire 82 season regular season, out of all four of the major sports, this is the only one in which I agree that they need to play less games, just because of how unimportant all of this is. 20 of the 30 teams that are playing in the NBA got into the playoffs. Okay. And all of this, putting the 7, 8, 9, and 10 seeds in there so that they can lock up a certain area just to get booted within the first round doesn't draw any type of viewership. The NBA regular season needs to go to 60 games. The playoffs need to be 6 to 8 teams, not 10 teams. And the NBA has more problems than NASCAR right now when it comes down to their scheduling and their playoffs and the importance of it. Now that the importance of the playoff is coming, let's be as blunt as we can. There is not going to be a Cinderella that's coming out of these play-in games that's going to make it to the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference Finals. Great. None of them are going to make a magic run like the 99 Knicks did, or like Jimmy Butler did with the Heat after he came back from an entire season of injury. None of that is going to happen. You can't manufacture that drama. The best team in the West, either San Antonio or San Antonio or Oklahoma City, are going to end up winning the championship after whoever wins the bloodbath in the East. And I hate to say this, my Knicks, if they make it to the Eastern Conference Final, well, great. Then that is higher than I think that they would ever go out. But I don't see them going into the NBA Finals this year. And I sure as heck don't see anybody beating whoever wins that bloodbath of San Antonio and Oklahoma City in the Western Conference Finals.
Did you know that there has never been an 8 seed to have made the playoffs and won it all. But
Yeah.
there has been one team that has made it and got to the finals. Do you know who that team is?
Yeah, the New York Knicks in '99.
Yep, the New York Knicks in '99 have been the only 8 seed team that have made it to the finals in which they lost to the
And
Spurs.
do you know what was weird about that '99 season, other than it was the fact that Jordan didn't play? It was a 50-game regular season because of the lockout. The teams did not have any type of gelling, and by the time that the playoffs started, the teams were in their mid-season form. Patrick Ewing at that point was a shell of his former player, and Marcus Camby stepped up pretty damn big to fill in for Patrick Ewing during the playoffs. But at that same time, Latrell Sprewell got better in the Knicks offense, him and Allen Houston gelled into a much better sharpshooter. And that's what helped the team get to the NBA Finals that year, where they ended up winning. I think they only won one game against the Twin Towers of San Antonio, and Tim Duncan won the NBA Finals MVP. I was in basic training when that happened, too.
The most recent example, you had the 2020 Heat team that was the 8 seed that beat the number 1 Bucks and the number 2 seed Boston Celtics and made it to the NBA Finals on Jimmy Butler's last year that he was actually relevant and good. Which is funny to say because that wasn't that long ago. But
that was 22. That was 22 or 20.
That was 23.
23. Okay, yeah, and that 8 seed that they got that year, that was another one where, Jimmy Butler came back and was able to finally elevate his game after, multiple years of being Jimmy Butler. Now he just dresses like a Karen.
Pretty much. I got one more question for you here, and then we'll talk about some of the games that happened yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Who was the lowest seed team to win it all? What seed were they, and do you know what team and what year it was?
If I'm right, it was the 94-95 Houston Rockets, who were a 5 or a 6 seed that won it against the Orlando Magic.
Let's go. Ding, ding, ding. I wish I had something that I could play for my soundboard. But, yep, led by Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. They beat 4 50-win teams in what is considered to be the hardest championship run by any team.
And a lot of people don't remember that one because they remember because that was when Shaq got swept in the finals, and that's when MJ lost to them in the second round with Ho Grant getting lifted off the court in Chicago. That team in Houston, because they had won the year before, they lost Vernon Maxwell that year, and there was a lot of turmoil with that team trying to win back-to-back that year. In fact, if I'm remembering right, San Antonio was the number 1 team that year, and they had a great run when Rodman and David Robinson were there. Robinson won the MVP that season. But if I'm remembering correctly, Clyde Drexler got traded to them right at the trade deadline, and it took a couple weeks for them to gel together and finally have a second scorer behind Olajuwon. Because I think like the second biggest scorer after them was like Mario Elie and maybe Sam Cassell. Robert Horry at that time was still playing off of the bench. So it took a little bit for that, but then when Clyde finally started playing well, it was right before the playoffs, and then when they got in as a 5th seed, they just went on a magical run after that.
Nice. Hey, we've got a couple of people in the building, so let's give a salute to Ellie. Appreciate you popping in. Thanks for tuning in. We got God Happen to Me in the building. Say good evening, and I appreciate you buying those grapes for me. Coach, have you ever tried those cotton candy grapes? Those things are fantastic.
I've seen them. I don't like grapes, but I know what they are, and my daughter's had them before.
I typically don't eat grapes like that either, but I will devour those things. We also got Ton in the building said, yo, 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 appreciate you popping in. Ellie said, I mean, hi, we barely see you there behind those woods.
They're woods, huh? All right.
All right. So there was some controversy in yesterday's playing games. In one of the matchups, you had Portland edging the Phoenix Suns by 114 to 110. And I think, let me double check this. And I want to say Portland was favored. So the fact that they won that matchup, let me look. I'm double checking here. I'm going to find it, and it's gone. That game was featured on Prime Video, which I thought was dope too. So for those of y'all that were interested in checking both of the games out, they actually both were on Prime Video. All of the games actually are on Prime Video. But you had some controversy in that Miami Charlotte game, in which Charlotte the underdog. They were definitely the underdog. They won by 1 point in overtime, with the Heat losing their best player in Bam Adebayo after LaMelo Ball went down and, in my opinion, tripped him up. Did you see that trip in that video?
I did. I did. It seemed a little dirty, and it wouldn't surprise me from one of the ball boys that they're playing dirty. But, I mean, let's just be honest here. There was nothing illegal against what he did. Okay, I hate to say this. There's nothing against the rule. Yes, there's nothing in the rule book saying that he couldn't hold him back right there, especially if he was off the ball. But what I am going to bring up right here is that it has messed up Miami, where they're never going to recover from this again, and they're not going to win another game here. In fact, if I'm looking at it right now, well, no, I mean, I guess they play whoever loses against the Magic or the Sixers, but yeah. LaMelo Ball. I got to tell you something. He had. I'm giving him a benefit of the doubt for this one reason. He's in freaking Charlotte, okay? And out of any of the NBA franchises, I'm going to give you the three worst that nobody gives a flying fuck about, okay? New Orleans, who used to be Charlotte, who used to be the Bobcats and are now the Hornets again, and the Clippers. Nobody gives a fuck about any of them. So the fact that the Charlotte is now in the playoffs for like the first time in forever and have some type of relevance with the future rookie of the year and Mr. Knipple, I'm giving Charlotte a little bit of a hometown. I'm going to let you get away with some of this shit just so that I can see you try to have a somewhat of a playoff run and get swept in the first round. Or at least make it, 5 games in the first round.
Man, I watched somebody, and I love the internet for this. They show that this is not LaMelo's first time tripping Bam. And in my opinion, these athletes, you want to say, oh, they're the cream of the crop elite athletes, but then you'll hear LaMelo's excuse saying, oh, I went down and I hit my head and I didn't know where I was at the time and all this and that. I'm like, no, these athletes are out here doing this stuff intentionally. And I'm like, if I'm me, even if we boys, it's on sight, because you could have done something that could have fucked up my career and my money by doing something that didn't need to happen. It didn't need to happen. He got frustrated, so he tripped him up.
Yeah.
And injured this guy's tailbone or whatnot. It's on site.
Now I will say this, okay? It's not going to be a suspension, all right? Even with Adebayo, messing up his back after it, it's not going to be a suspension. This is going to be one of these things where the NBA officials, and they have the ability to do this, can go back and look at the play and call that and give them a flagrant one, or even higher, a flagrant 2. Now, that's not going to suspend him from the game, all right? It's not going to be like what happened with Draymond in 2016 where he gets technical and he has to miss a game, and then LeBron, is magically, world champion again. No, this ain't going to be like that. But LaMelo might get something where he needs to be on his best of his behavior for the rest of the time that he's in the playoffs, at least until the next round.
Today, we have, let me bring it up here. Today, we have currently being played in the second quarter, Orlando versus Philly in the 7th versus 8th play-in out of the East. Trying to see if I can find the Vegas odds on this here real quick. Why can't I find it whenever I'm looking for it? Here we go. Nope, that's not it either. Right now, the game is tied 48-48 with 2.5.
The spread that I saw was that Orlando was up 1.5.
Okay, that's a close spread. Interesting. I'm looking at this Orlando's roster and what their stats have been over the past season. This isn't it. Yeah, there's not going to be any team 6 through 8 out of the East.
No,
that's to be able to make a run and do.
I mean, and look, Embiid is out. Embiid's not coming back, so I am going to say that Philly has absolutely no chance of doing that. And there's another thing I got to bring up. It's about all, NBA injuries happen. The NFL injuries happen. They really mess up a lot of people's seasons when injuries do happen. But I have never seen a team have a player as often injured and as many people have had just chronic bullshit injuries than NBA players do. Zion Williamson, Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis. I'm talking about big men, big superstars, and they are injured every other fucking game. I get this whole load management thing, but I also think that them playing at such a fast pace on such an irregular schedule is aiding to these injuries that we are seeing. A slower pace of a game will get them to play 82 games where we're not worried about if, freaking Jokic or Wembanyama or Kate Cunningham are going to play enough time so that they can get on the All-NBA team or be MVP eligible. But I think that there would actually be, a slower pace of play and actual defense being played might save some of these people from ridiculous amounts of injuries. I mean, how many times has Anthony Davis been injured? I'm going to say since 2017.
If he walks outside and the wind is blowing more than 3 miles an hour, he's going to be injured.
Zion Williamson, after 2021, when everybody just kept not playing D and he was supposed to be playing point forward and everything with the pace of play. No, he has been injured often. Kyrie injured like crazy. The pace of play is what's making people injured. That's what's happening. And you can tell me that you're load managing and you're not playing these games on back-to-back days. There are guys like Mikal Bridges, who right now has a 600-plus game playing streak. Nowhere near AC Green, who's got like 1,145. But Mikal Bridges does not, run up and down the court and freaking, three and just chuck and heave and, fast pace of the game. The dude slows it down and the dude plays consistently. And back in the day when they were slowing down the pace of the play, the players were playing more games. The players were also not getting injured due to the frantic pace of the play and the inconsistencies of it. I believe that body conditioning has ruined some of the things here within the NBA, And that's the reason why I'm also saying an 82-game season right now with this current pace of play is way too freaking long, and they need to adjust it somehow within the next collective bargaining agreement, or we're just going to go ahead and fast forward all the way through the NBA regular season and not give a shit about that extra playing game for the mid-season championship thing that the Knicks are never going to hoist a fucking banner for, and just wait until the playoff times. So I told you, the NBA's got some problems they've got to fix.
And
I am a staunch believer that these problems are going to ruin the NBA within the next until 2028.
I'm going to go back to something that I said earlier. You've got 13 active people that can play for a reason, and the NBA has been. I'm not going to say the NBA. The Stars themselves, in my opinion, because of ego, have been pushing themselves to play heavy minutes. Right? I say reduce the amount of minutes that the Stars are playing. Get all 13 active players that are eligible to play to get minutes, and you can have an 80-game season if you do it that way. But if you're having LeBron at 40, 41, still going out there getting 38 minutes a night, that's ridiculous for anybody
And
to go through. And that's why these athletes are having the fucked up feet and all these ailments and things.
and the NBA wants to expand by 2 teams. Yeah, that's going to be more injuries compounding what you already have. Yeah,
So,
we could talk about expansion another daggone night, because Major League Baseball is going to do the same thing too, and they're going to fuck it up again.
here's a question for the viewers. Now, Coach, this isn't for you. To our editors, clip this. If the NBA is only going to have 8 to 9 people that are ever really going to play, why even have a 15-person roster? That's question number 1 to the viewers. And question number 2, would you rather have a deep bench or 2 superstars and figure the rest out? Y'all let me know what y'all think. Taking a look at the other matchup that's going to be playing today, you've got the battle of the West out of California, where you got Golden State playing the Clippers in the 9th versus 10th place play-in matchup. Right now, the Clippers are favored by 3.5 points. You've got Steph Curry supposedly making his way back onto the court on a heavy minutes restriction in a game that the Golden State Warriors need to win. I don't think that the Golden State Warriors are going to win this playing game against the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard is still that dude. He's balling out. He's leading their team in average for points, rebounds, and assists. This Clippers really isn't a good team themselves, but I don't see Golden State having enough to be able to win this matchup.
Neither do I. I think Golden State's a little bit too long in the tooth, and Jimmy Butler has not, given them anything since they traded for him. And the sad part is that I think there's talk about running them back again next year with the same group, with a healthy full season of Jimmy Butler and Steph in his supposed last season, and Draymond in his supposed last season, and possibly bringing Kerr back. Oh, man, if there is anything right now that the NBA can do to speed up the – and I admire Golden State. They did, they've won 4 championships over a 9-year period, but I hate to say this, their teams are done. And they need to refocus and get some better star players, because Jimmy Butler ain't it. Steph has lost a step. And Draymond right now is just, Draymond's turning into the Rodman towards the end of his career in Dallas and Los Angeles right now. That's what he's becoming. He can still produce on the court, but he's becoming more of a distraction for the team. And Steve Kerr, to me, I love his loyalty to Golden State, but there are other teams that would die to have him as a coach. Lakers being one of them. where they could possibly win a championship with him being the coach. Just saying that, especially if LeBron freaking gets out of, retires at the end of the season. Yeah, I'm saying that. They'll win one without LeBron. But I would say, Steve Kerr needs a new place, just the same way that Phil Jackson needed a new place after Chicago. I think he does need to go on that, and maybe even go to Miami, because Spoelstra's been at that job way too long and hasn't delivered and gotten the results that he's been getting. Just saying that too.
All right, let's see. We're going to take a look at one other thing here. The winners of today's game will play Friday in the last play-in game before the playoffs officially start on Saturday. We've got some really good matchups. I think a lot of eyes are going to be on that 4 versus 5 out of the West with the Lakers versus the Rockets. I think one of the more exciting matchups are going to be the Nuggets and the Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of superstars. I think that one is going to be the one to watch, with that game, that series possibly going all the way to 7 games. I think that whoever the Thunder plays against at 8, they're going to sweep, and whoever the Pistons play on the East at 8, they're going to sweep. The other matchup that I think not too many people are talking about, and Coach, I'm not doing this because you're here. That Knicks Hawks 3-6.
Okay.
What do you think about that series?
I'm gonna give it Knicks in 6.
See, I like that. I was like, I don't see a 4 or a 5 game series for that one. As of right now, out of game 1, the Knicks are favored by 5.5 points. But I think that a 6-game series can come out of that series, and I think out of the East, it's going to be one of the matchups that is going to have a lot more people talking.
I think that'll be. I think it will be a competitive enough series, but I do believe that you're going to have plenty of 1-point games. But the Knicks are battle tested now. They've reached the Eastern Conference Finals. They know how to win in the playoffs. They know how to play well with the members of the team that they've got. And, the Hawks, I mean, look, they did better after they got rid of Trey. And, I kind of like them, but I don't think they're going to end up going into the first, getting out of that first round. Second round is where the question marks start coming in, and that's where I think this Boston team is going to. Personally, for me, I'm going to say Boston out of the East. I don't think the Pistons, even though they're the 1 seed with an MVP candidate in Cade Cunningham, is going to be is going to be out there, for the team. The pedigree, the playoff toughness that Boston has gotten and has. Is going to help them propel them throughout the East and this. And the way that it's looking like they're either going to get the Hornets in the first round, or I'm going to say that they're going to end up getting the Magic in the round. I don't think Philly's going to make it, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting to see what we've got with the in the second round. But my pick is going to end up being the Celtics coming out of the East.
Ooh. I got Cleveland out of the East, and it's hard for me to go against the Lakers because I'm a huge LeBron fan. I got Cleveland as the 4th seed winning the East, and I mean, they play good team ball, so the Thunder's going to be out of the West.
See, that's where I'm coming from, man. I Thunder and Spurs in the Western Conference Final. It looks like that showdown. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned this earlier as when the Thunder went off on they were like 25-1 to begin the season or something like that. And then all of a sudden, freaking the alien comes out and Wembanyama shuts them down on like a 15-game win streak and just says, "Bruh, I'm French and I can bench press 400 pounds with my pee-pee." Yeah, he's going to end up doing it. Wembanyama is right now the one player that could control his team's entire destiny to the good. The other one will need team efforts, but I believe Wembanyama is enough of a difference maker, even more than Jokic. I mean, look, Jokic is still averaging a triple-double, but he's also a one-man show over there with a less of a supporting cast than what San Antonio's got. But I think Wembanyama right now is that one player that can kick it up to a different level in the playoffs and carry that team by himself to the finals. And I believe with how well they match up against Oklahoma City, that it's going to be a 7-game slobber knocker that's going to end up being won by the Spurs. And you know what? Do it for Popovich, who, had the stroke and, before he passes, at least try to win one for him.
Shout out to Coach Pops. Yep. Now we got CC Smith in the building. Said, "Hey King, hey to Madre. Appreciate you popping in. Thanks for tuning in." Now we're gonna make a quick little pivot here before we get into the final story. The NHL is nearing the finish line. The regular season is in its final days. And last night's action, you had the Philadelphia Flyers lose to the Montreal Canadiens. But Flyers rookie defenseman Oliver Bonk secured his first career NHL goal to wrap up a feel-good story for that. So shout out to the rookie defenseman Oliver Bonk. There was also a college softball league that ended. Southeastern Louisiana had its massive 25-game winning streak, the longest in the nation, snapped yesterday in a 4-3 walk-off loss. Stephen F. Austin. Bummer. Streaks are like one of those stories that once you get into a certain groove, then you've got your rituals that you do. And it's like you don't want to do anything the streak. And it's hard not to think about that kind of stuff when you're the one that's in it and like a part of it. Yeah. We got one other update here regarding the ex-Michigan coach, Sharon Moore. He ended up having a hearing the other day, and to me got a slap on the wrist in which he was given 18-month probation from Judge Cedric Simpson. I think that accountability in this country has gone out the window for a good bit of people. So when you have folks out here that are willing to break the rules and go above and beyond or go below and under because they're like, nothing's really going to happen to me anyway. People aren't facing accountability for the stupid shit that they do. Now, the thing Coach Moore and what he got charged with and what he ended up, happening is he still had his wife by his side. His wife was there at sentencing, still side by side, along with the coach and ex-coach. And when the sentencing came down and, it was an 18 months probation, you can see the coach hugging his wife and he went in for a kiss. Now she kind of dodged it, which I don't know. You know what I'm saying? There might be trouble in paradise. But the interesting part about this too, the prosecutor didn't necessarily ask for a jail sentence. Instead, saying that the prosecution is going to rely on the judge's judgment. So I think that the judge went lean on him. I mean, he didn't do anything crazy. He didn't take anybody's life or anything like that. But I still think that, I know if my dumb ass goes out and does something very similar to what he doing, they put me in jail. I'm going to be made an example of because I don't have influence like certain people. So, whatever. It is what it is.
Hey, look, did anybody find out where the judge went to college?
Hey, that's the question right there.
Just saying.
You are asking all of the questions that need to be asked, Coach.
And look, it's not like that hasn't happened in the judicial system in this country. Hey, King, Real quick, I did want to bring up one last thing. When you were talking about hockey, I didn't get a chance to ask you this, but another 30 goal season for Ovechkin, but this is his final year on his contract. Do you think he comes back for another season or two?
One more, yes.
All right. Wanted to ask that quick before we got into talking about more shit that doesn't happen off the field of play, because I know what our next one's going to be, and dear God, did Mike Vrabel fuck up.
Woo! So let's get into it. We are at the final news topic that we're going to cover today. My, oh my, oh my. Coach Vrabel, the New England Patriots head coach, was caught canoodling with the Atlantic reporter, former ESPN host, Dianna Russini. And the interesting part about that is that if you didn't know them personally, you would have looked at these photos and thought, oh, look at that happy couple. Well, it turns out they are not necessarily a couple from respected for what they do in their sports, because they are tied together with other people themselves. So you have what many people were saying was a very improper setting for a news reporter to be, in which she's in a bikini, which there's nothing wrong with wearing a bikini in a pool. There's nothing wrong with wearing a bikini at a pool, but when you holding hands and you gazing in each other's eyes lovingly, that tells a different story with how you can ethically be doing something and not call insider shenanigans or things like that. So what can you tell us about the story while I bring up some of the pictures here for the view?
Well, I will say that, with what's being accused of right now, and the entire, I'm not sure if you noticed this, but several news sources did not run with this story at all when it broke. Mainly because I think it was trying to, take care of one of their own. And one of the things that got me to laugh my butt off at was that the pictures were sent from, if you looked at the pictures, it looked like somebody did this one on purpose, as if they were truly trying to find some type of evidence that they were doing something together. It was like, man, it looked like it was from a paparazzi photo. Okay, like somebody took a long lens camera and was like seated up on a hill and was specifically looking for them to be, utilized. This is like some PI or, paparazzi people trying to really get the dirt on it. So whoever did this had some type of vendetta against the reporter or against, the coach. Now, the funny thing I heard, and I'm not sure if this actually is true or not, it might have been a Babylon Bee type of situation, but Robert Kraft was not too happy about what transpired with Coach Vrabel and let him know about it. And Coach Vrabel said, yeah, you're one to talk, talking about how he ended up, getting a hand job over at the Asian massage parlors. Okay. And look, let's be as blunt as we can. The New England Patriots are kind of not the greatest ones when it comes down to, romantic endeavors. I mean, you got one that loves going to the Asian massage parlor. You have one that, his wife, had to leave him because, to go with her Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor. You had another one who, what the hell was this one about? I can't even remember other than Coach Vrabel. You had another one who ended up killing somebody and then hanging himself in prison. There was another one. I'm trying to remember this other one. Oh, yeah, and that's right. And your former head coach right now, who's 73 years old, is dating a person who's a third of his age, 75 to 25. Let's just be as blunt as we can here. It looks bad. It looks bad on a journalistic integrity point because, what's her name? She was going to end up covering. She was covering the NFL, and she was covering other things that were happening too. Around the NFL and other sports. It does not look good for anybody involved. And if I'm correct, didn't she resign today?
Yep, I was going to read that here towards the end, but she resigned from the Atlantic today and put out a statement.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So what was the statement? Do you have that up?
No, but I can get it here real quick.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Give me a second. Because from what I am like looking at right now is God. Hold on. I'm looking up something here. All right, give me a second. Sorry about that. Damn. Why the hell? All right, I'm looking something up here too at the same time you are. All right. So Dianna Russini apparently put out a tweet saying that she was resigning not because she was guilty, not because she was involved in it, but because she didn't want to add to the already going on circus surrounding the situation that's happening. So she resigned. It kind of sounds like a bullshit excuse that we would get all over the players about, for if they have a DUI or if they get arrested for domestic violence or they get arrested for doing something stupid. It sounds like that forced report right there where they don't say nothing and they don't admit guilt. And that's exactly what Dianna just put out, was that she was resigning just so that she doesn't get through the media circus, and she denies that she was any part of any of these other things. And she's denying that she has, doing this out of journalistic integrity. No, her resigning looks like she's doing it out of no integrity whatsoever. And this is also another woman who has put out speculative articles about players without any type of proof, yet she's trying to claim journalistic integrity after being caught, by the fucking paparazzi photo.
Yep. And you said everything that I was going to say. So I'm displaying it right here, and it's in that the fourth paragraph, where she writes, in the days that followed, unfortunately, commentators in various media have engaged in a self-feeding speculation that is simply unmoored from the facts. Moreover, this media frenzy is hurtling forward without regard for the review process the aesthetic is trying to complete. It continues to escalate, fueled by repetitive leaks, and I have no interest in submitting to a public inquiry that has already caused far more damage than I am willing to accept. No, Dianna, you and Coach Vrabel were at an 18 and over, adults only, expensive ass resort. So I looked this place up, the Abbey, a landscape hotel in Sedona, Arizona. You're talking about right here in May, the average price $1,440 a night. So here you are, you're canoodling. Like, this isn't some, oh, hey, I didn't know you'd be here.
Yeah.
They think we're stupid. I would have given her a shit ton of respect if she would have came out and been like, hey, you know what? You got it. I can't wait for somebody to do that.
I was shocked.
Yeah. Man, yeah, you know what?
I mean, and look, if it was one picture, like if it was the one hugging picture, okay, yeah, you could have had something like that or whatever. But you've got two sets of pictures. You've got you in a pool, and then you've got you hugging outside in two different outfits. Let's be as blunt as we can right here. You're adding to the speculation by not admitting anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you screwed that up completely. So whatever, say it's rather sad that we have come to this part of, journalistic integrity when she has no journalistic integrity. Yeah.
Agreed. There's a comment that a little birdie told me that it was somebody's birthday, and you know what? I completely forgot about that. So I need for everybody that's listening, when I give a countdown, to tell good old coach here, happy birthday. So we're gonna do the happy birthday song here on 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Do-do-do-do. Happy birthday to you. Do-do-do-do. Happy birthday, dear Coachy. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Blah, 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 blah.
Todd said that Coach Babel and Dianna got caught in 4K, as the kids say. Absolutely. Look, there's certain things when you have notoriety that you can't do. Could I go out and do dirt? Possibly. Don't nobody know who I am. Would I do that? No. To God happen to me that's listening, I'm just hypothetically saying I am not as I don't have the same type of notoriety as Coach. At least not yet. Not until the King and Me show blows up. Then it's a totally different story.
Hey, what coach you talking about? Coach me or Coach Vrabel?
Oh, there you go. Both of y'all. I'm not as famous as now one of y'all. But yeah, if you're going and you're spending $1,400 a night at a resort, you're going there just to meet a journalist and talk about how you can better make my team and me look good. No, you trying to get some Gawk 4,000.
Yeah, and look, there's no draft. There's no draft pre-draft camp that's happening over in that area. There was no combine, and there's nobody in Sedona, Arizona, anywhere near a college that you were going to go see and draft in the first round. Just saying.
Exactly. Hey, so I know we live up in the Boston area, right? But let's go over to the West Coast where ain't nobody gonna know us and get some Gawk 4,000.
That's where I'm coming from with these pictures. Is that look, it's not like they did it in Boston or wherever the hell Diana's from, but it was in Arizona and it was taken with a long lens camera. This wasn't taken by an amateur. This was taken by somebody with a vendetta. This really was, man. And that's who I want to find out who actually took these pictures.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. This has been another episode of the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio. Coach, I know you have the calendar updated. Are we good to be on together for next week?
Yeah, so for those of y'all, look, we got my calendar is all fuckered up. So next week, all the way up until the first, all the way up through April, all April, next week and the week after, I will be on with you. Then I gotta miss the first 2 weeks of shows in May. Then I'm good for most from like that part of May all the way up until June, but then July gets really messed up. So yeah, I've got like 3 weeks where 3 out of the 4 weeks in July or 3 out of the 5 weeks in July where I'm not going to be able to be on the show.
All right. Well, hey, look, I'm going to do something that our station manager might not like. If you have ever wanted to come on and talk sports and be a part of WTF Nation Radio, shoot me an email at king at WTFNationRadio.com and you can be my co-host here for the Sports Bar those 2 weeks that Coach is not going to be around in May.
Yeah.
Again, king at WTFNationRadio.com. Station manager, I don't give a shit what you say. That's how I'm doing this. All right, y'all. Look, there's basketball that's being played tonight. You've got hockey. You've got all kinds of sports stuff. For those of y'all that tuned in to watch us, thank you to everybody else. We appreciate y'all tuning in as well. If there's a like button on your platform, do us a favor. Hit that like button on your way out if you haven't done it already. I'm King. That's Coach. This is a salute, and we are out. Peace.
Peace.